Very nice, Lester. This is part of us. This is our culture.
Everything that I design revolves around my country. I'm very proud.
Hello and welcome to Qatar 365 with me, Adil Halim. On this episode, we explore Qatar's burgeoning jewelry sector. Since ancient times, this sea has been a source of one of the country's most precious gems, natural pearls. So we sent Charlotte Dubinsky to find out why Qatari natural pearls are still at the beating heart of the industry.
You don't have to dive deep into Qatar's past to know that these waters have always been abundant with riches. Today it's oil and gas, but for centuries wealth came from oysters on the seabed. Mohammed is one of the few divers who's still seeking his fortune at the bottom of the ocean.
For 2,000 years, people here in this land, whoever was in this land, they've been doing the pearl diving. They found a pearl before maybe 4 or 6 months. That pearl they found, it's over 2,000 years. My grandfather actually, he was a pearl diver. When I asked my father, I want to go to the sea to catch some fish as a second job, and to go to the fish market, he said, why? You are a diver, why you don't get some oysters and look for the pearl?
Engine is running.
Mohammed searches through his hoard. This time, no luck.
Shall we go again?
Back deep below, he continues to search for oysters that may be hiding this precious commodity. So what signs is he looking out for?
First of all, you should know that oyster, it's an old oyster or it's a baby oyster. How can you know? The size plus the thickness of the oyster. And also there is another thing I'm looking on. Here, exactly. You see there is a space from behind. More space you have here, more age you know about that oyster. It means it's older than the others.
Though many pearl divers use tanks to stay underwater longer, Mohammed still practices the art of free diving. He's trained to be able to hold his breath for long periods while he combs the seabed, just like his forebearers. One of the oldest professions in the Gulf region, men also used to rely on tying stone weights to one leg and a nose clip as they descended deep to find oysters.
Ooh, it's very nice, Lester.
What kind of size is that?
It's maybe 3.2, 3.5 maybe.
The colour, it's almost got like a bit of grey in it.
Yeah, grey, and if you want to say it's a little bit green, you can say green.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy.
That begins a streak of luck.
And we have more here. You see the pearl?
Wow, I see. And there's
It's the
another
natural one.
Yeah.
An incredible haul for Mohammed because natural pearls are incredibly difficult to find. Those smaller beads are perhaps more common, but to find an oyster with a large natural pearl inside, it's more like 1 in every 10,000. That gives you a sense, an idea as to why they're so expensive and for many so desirable.
But for Mohammed, this isn't about making a wage. Natural pearl diving is a calling, a link to his past. And for him, this is about keeping old traditions alive.
This is part of us. This is our culture. That's what our grandfather was doing for a living. And for now, we can make money also from it. So there is a lot of reasons pushing me to do that thing. And I love it. I'm a diver.
So we know the pearl industry was Qatar's lifeline before the discovery of oil and gas here. But apart from being vital to the livelihood of the local community, pearls are embroidered in Qatari culture and heritage. To learn more about this, I met with Jassim Al-Khawari here at the National Museum of Qatar. Thanks for joining us, Jassim. Why have naturalized pearls from the Gulf always been such prized possessions?
The first exports of pearls were coming out of the Gulf, actually. So people in the Gulf discovered the pearls first, they were exported them first. And even later on, when they discovered there were pearls in other locations and they were traded to, the Gulf pearls, especially the Basra pearls, were considered the most expensive type of pearls because they have a unique light fracturing structure to them. And they have a unique shapes, which makes the rounded ones the most expensive one. And that was kept through over the years from 2,000 years ago to today.
There was a huge demand for Qatari natural pearls in Europe, but where else did they end up?
So the pearls reached all over the world, Western Europe, all the way to China and East Asia. And one of the items that we have here in the gallery, especially in gallery number 7, which is at the center of the museum, is the Baroda carpet, which was made in India by the Indian Maharaja in Baroda.
We think of pearls as being used to make jewelry, but what else were they used for?
So pearls were used to decorate many pieces of furniture, even the mother of pearl, that is the lining or the pearlescence that's on the inside of the oyster, were used in many cultures and all over the world. Well, the Baroda carpet was a gift from the Indian Maharaja of Baroda to the Muslims and to be a cover for the grave of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. So he made an entire piece, an entire carpet of pearls and other precious gems.
Now, you mentioned the collapse of the industry. How did that happen?
Till the 1930s, the main export of Qatar was the pearls. But during that period, especially a Japanese man called Mikimoto Kojin, he developed the cultivated pearl industry. And with the cultivated pearl industry, this collapsed the natural Gulf pearl industry here, because collecting 8,000 oysters from the waters, you would only yield 5 to 15 pearls max. They wouldn't always look good. Some of them would vary in shape, size, and color. But with the cultivated pearl industry, you can plant 8,000 oysters and collect the shape, color, and size that you want exactly, which drop the price of the natural Gulf pearl. And then after that, the industry here in the Gulf slowly died over 20s and 30s.
So how does the National Museum highlight what the pearls mean to Qatari culture and heritage?
We highlight the depth of the pearling industry, speaking about the pearl trader first, and then the reach of the pearls to all over the world, from Rome in 2,000 years ago, all the way to North America in 1930s, speaking of the importance of the pearls during that period and how they were the most expensive type of jewelry to be worn by celebrities or royalties around the world.
As we've been exploring, Qatar has a long history with jewels. And for one designer here in Doha, it's the country itself which inspires her creations. Let's check it out. Despite their expense, natural pearls are still in demand. Award-winning designer Nada bint Hamis Al-Soleti says for some clients, they're irreplaceable.
Razmi, I think I like this. I think we need more. So there is a market just for natural pearls. There are people who buy only natural pearls and they don't believe in cultured pearls. And we have a lot of clients in this region that they don't buy but natural pearls. Now, if we talk about that market, it's considered 5% of the market only. However, natural pearls are still in, will always be in, and will always be in style. Now, for us, we use it primarily in high jewelry and bespoke pieces made to measure.
The collections here at Hayrat take inspiration from the length and breadth of Qatar. The brand is internationally recognized, but all designs are rooted deep in the country's natural beauty.
Since I was young, I've been going with my parents around the country to see the desert, the sea, the ruins, old houses and whatnot. And I've always seen beauty. Ever since then, I've always wondered how can I use that in a creative way. And then I've noticed that my language is jewelry. And I found a medium to translate the beauty that I see in around me, in everything, in all the details we have here, into a wearable art and a daily use pieces. Al-Jassasiyah is a very fascinating site. It's protected by the Museum Authority. It's a site that have rock carving in the ground on rock. One of the techniques that I like is the repetition, because that continuity suits the eye, and the negative positive space. I'm wearing those rings, and I've created those rings for me back in 2014, just for me, before I launched it as a fine jewelry collection.
The inspiration Qatar has provided is clear to see, but each of these pieces also tell a story. If you look closely at this ring, it looks like the shape of Qatar, with a chunk taken out of it. For Nada, it's important that she shares the inspiration she gleans from Qatar with the world.
I'm very proud of my origin. I mean, I'm an international person. I've lived in Europe, I've lived around the Middle East, I've traveled all over the place, but I still be connected and rooted here. I like to learn from other cultures, but I want not to forget my origin, and I'm proud of it. So I think, yes, maybe subconsciously, it came out in the cutout.
From the country's rich history with natural pearls to unique jewelry creations, we hope you picked up some gems on this episode. That's all the time we have for now. For more, check out Euronews.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Qatar 365.